Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope my mic is sounding okay, and is my mic okay? Is my mic okay? So where are you listening from? You're having Felix Otiano from Kenya. So you're welcome, Felix. So if you follow me for, let me say this thing, if you follow me for, let's say, like 6 months, even if you don't join my mentorship and you don't see results, then you have not been serious about the skill. You join me for 6 months, consistently following my talks, following my setups, reanalyzing it yourself, and see my thought process, then I think you are not being serious about the craft. You have to understand this thing, anything that I've been talking about. You get it? Because I make it very simple and easy for everyone to understand. So where are you listening from? Let me know where you are listening from. And if you join the stream, please kindly give a like. Click on the thumbs up button. Give a like to the stream. Give a like to the stream so that you do some chart breakdown. If there's an opportunity for us to take a trade, you will take it to as well. So where are you listening from? Let me know where you are listening from. Kindly. But before that, kindly click on the thumbs up button. Give a like to the stream. Kindly give a like to the stream too as well. Guy from Takrady. So you're having Guy from Takrady, William Guy from Takrady. You are welcome. Trading becomes very simple, and I'm not saying it's easy, but like you get to release those relief. You get relief when you have a trading plan. You get it? When you have a trading plan, you become very confident. Emotions are eradicated. Like you get rid of your emotions because having a strict rules, a strict plan. This is the time you have to come to the chart. This is the exact time you have to trade the market. This is the time you don't have to trade. So if you're having all these things in place, trading becomes stress free. Okay, there's no stress on you, because if those things haven't aligned, if they haven't aligned, you are not going to be executing, or you are not going to be taking trades. You get it? So that's what you have to be yearning, or that's what you have to be going for, always looking for. Try to draft try to draft out your trading plan. Please, which pair are you showing? Yeah, so this is gold, but I think you will start analyzing Euro NZD first. Okay, so Euro NZD, the tip hasn't been broken, and even the timing is very bad. You are not in active market section. So let me delete. So this is a potential, this is a 9 setup. Okay, so you are going to be breaking this down. This chart I've opened now is Euro NZD. I'm seeing a nice setup over there. So we are going to be breaking it down. So if you join the stream, kindly give a like to the video and make the class engaging. If you have any question, in case maybe there was any difficulty, let's make the class engaging. If you have any question, you ask. Okay, so that the class it will not be a one-man show. Let's make it engaging. Okay, let's make it engaging so that the class, I won't feel bored. Because if you people are not talking and I'm always doing the talking, it's become dull. Okay, so let's make the class engaging. All right, so let's start. So as I'm saying, if you are here, I always continue preaching this thing. If you are here and you are not having a trading plan, you don't have rules that you follow, then it's your success, the time to get your success is going to be very long. Okay, so you need to draft out your trading plan. What exactly? That's what you have to be aiming for. What exactly do you look for on a trade? Okay, screenshot your winning trades. Make sure you are taking track of your trades. That's the most important thing. Okay, so good morning, guys, from Kenya. So you're having Mary from Kenya. Mary, you are welcome to the stream. Okay, so no matter even your setup, you are going to be chopping some losses, 1 or 2, but that isn't the case. So you still have a plan. That's the most important thing. Have a plan. All right, so let's move to the economic calendar. In case maybe you're having any question, kindly drop it in the chat box. So today I'm going to be dropping a lot of gems over here that I think if you add it to your trading plan or if you add it to your trading approach, it's going to be a help to you too as well. Okay, it's going to be a help to a lot of you people. So today is Thursday, so March 6th. Today is March 6th. So next week the market is going to be on reset. Okay, we are going to move to the standard time. Yeah, next week we are going to move to the standard time. Yeah, let me check it out. Now, so it will start, the daylight savings is going to start on Wednesday. Yeah, so the daylight, the normal or the standard time is going to start on Wednesday. Okay, it's going to start on Wednesday. So the market will reset again. It will come to the standard time. So these are the times that I think there's going to be some opportunities for us to take advantage, and the market is not going to move before us, because when you were in daylight savings, sometimes the market moves before we start trading. If you are waiting for, let's say, 7 a.m. GMT, the market sometimes move before that time. So when you move to the standard time, the pre-lending session is going to start around 6 a.m. So by 6 a.m., if you see the setup, you can take the setup. Okay, you can take the setup as well. Yeah, so Wednesday, March 12th is when we are going to be having the standard time. So today is 6th of March. So March 12th, today is March 6th. So you don't have any high impact news during the lending session. So during the New York session, we are going to be having main refinancing rates, monitoring rates. So you are going to be having interest rates on the euro. So Eurozone is going to release their interest rates, so monetary policy statement. So this is a high impact news we need to pay attention to. So an hour before this news event, I think you need to stay out from the market. Okay, we need to stay out. I'm sure it's going to have an impact on the dollar. If you're trading any even dollar related currency pair, it's also going to be having an impact. Okay, so we need to be very cautious about it. Either to maybe stay out an hour before the news event. That's what mostly I do. When you have an high impact news, I stay out. And around 1:32, you are going to be having unemployment claims. So you stay out too from the market as well. So 1:45 too, you are going to be having European Central Bank press conference. So yeah, so after this red folders, then we start analyze. We can start taking trades. So I'm Solomon Edu watching from Efie Kuma Takradi. Efie Kuma, all right. You are welcome. You are welcome. Yeah, so today lending session we don't have any, but we're having some medium impact news today. So 9:30 a.m. we're having some medium impact construction PMI. So I think this can have an effect, but that will be around 9:30 when the H4 candle is about to close. So we are not yet close to the time that this news is going to be released. This medium impact news is going to be released. So I think we are still good to go. So lending session is, I think it's clean for us to take a trade. But one thing you need to have it in mind or bear in mind is what this week is an NFP week. And from my experience, from my 6 to 7 years experience in the Forex market, when we are having when we are in NFP week, the market becomes like dicey. The market becomes very slow. Okay, market becomes very, so you have to also be very cautious on your approach, your aggressiveness towards the market. You need to be very, very careful. Okay, NFP weeks are kind of tricky weeks. That's what I've experienced in the market. NFP weeks, mostly they are not profitable weeks. So one thing you need to do is what? Make sure you are not over trading. If there was no clarity in the setups, if there was no clarity, or you are not, the setup is not aligned according to your trading plan, don't force things to happen, because NFP week are kind of slow week. Okay, because all the investors, all the speculators, the speculators are waiting for the NFP news to be released before they make decisions. So it's like an upcoming interest rate release. Most people are waiting, investors are waiting for the interest rate for the interest rate to release. So they are not going to be making decision on which investment or asset class for them to put their money there. Okay, so you need to understand, when we are in NFP week, from my experience, the market becomes very slow. So from Monday, when we started the week, I've been calm. I've been making sure I'm not being aggressive. I'm making sure I'm taking trades that aligns with my trading plan. That's what I've been doing ever when we started the week. Okay, ever since we started the week, I've been very, very conservative on my approach. You get it? So understand the week that we are in. First and most often, first week of the month is first week and the last week of the month is kind of a tricky weeks. Okay, so be very, very careful. And now even tomorrow, I'm not even sure I'm even going to be participating in the market as well. So after the lending session tomorrow, I'll be watching. Even I'm not going to take a trade, I need to watch the market. Okay, so I'll be doing, maybe I'll not be executing trades, because this week I'm up for the week. Okay, I took like one loss, one win, one break-even trade. Okay, that was NZD card, was a break-even, 2 USD card trade. So one was a loss. I took the loss on the what do you call it? When I was doing the stream, I took a loss, and I think on Wednesday too, I took one win. The same setup. Okay, the same setup. I took one win during the New York session. So my wins are more than my losses. So I'm up for the week. Okay, so I'm not going to rush things, but when I see a clear setup, I'm going to be executing. So that's my job. All right. So I think the week, the morning, this morning is kind of clean based on where you are listening or tuning in from. But for my here, we are in the morning session. So this morning is kind of clean day. So if I see a nice setup, we are good to go. There's no distraction, or you are not going to be getting any interference from any high impact news. Okay, so we can take any good trade that will come by. All right, so one thing you need to understand, I want to understand is what a lot of people don't understand: setups and entry. Okay, you need to understand setups and entry. You need to understand setups and entry. Okay, so if someone analyze and the person is projecting price to be heading up to this side, that doesn't mean the person is taking an entry at that moment. Okay, so I'm talking to the beginners and people who don't understand. We're having difference between setup and entry. So this one, for instance, Euro NZD has setup, okay, but there was no entry. So when it comes to the entry, you are going to factor, or you are going to consider the time of the day. You are going to consider the zone, or maybe the level, the area of interest, or the reactional level that you are trading on. Okay, maybe the pattern that you normally focus. So since I'm a structured trader, most of my analysis from top to down are all based on what? All the time frames that I focus on are all based on market structure. Okay, so either you are going to be waiting for the market, the timing, the session, okay, timing or the session, or you are going to be waiting for the reactional levels. Okay, so this is a reactional level. So you see, as price got to this level, what are you seeing over here? You see price is really struggling to what? Break out from this level. You get it? So you are going to consider these levels too as well. You are going to consider the pattern too as well. You are going to consider the candle. So even though this market are set up, and I'm saying I'm projecting price to get to this, the nearest what area of interest, that doesn't mean I've executed. That doesn't mean I'm executing upfront when the market set up. That is not how it goes. So you need to understand we're having difference between setup and entry. You get it? There's difference between setup and entry. Setup is when maybe the multiple time frames, they've all aligned. Okay, they've all aligned. Maybe they are all in what? Uptrend. Okay, those things are what? Setups waiting for break and retest. The market has broken out. It's currently retesting. It has created a support. This is what? A setup. But when it comes to entry, as I explained earlier, that is when you are going to consider what? The various time frames. So you are going to factor the section. Okay, you are going to consider the section. You are going to consider the reactional levels. You are going to consider the patterns. So those things are what? Entries. So you have to know the difference. Okay, so if someone projects, oh, I'm expecting price to get to this side, that doesn't mean the person has executed a trade. The person is waiting for something. So this one, for instance, it has what? Clearly set up. The market has clearly set up, and I'm going to break it down. The market has clearly set up, but there was no entry. Okay, there was no entry. So if you have any question on what I've said, you kindly drop it in the chat box. All right, so currently, so let's move straight to the chart. So we are approaching the lending session. Okay, so you see this one, I've not executed. I'm not rushing to execute a trade. The reason I'm not rushing to execute any trade on this one is because the time is not favorable for me. Okay, the time is not favorable. Mostly I execute trades and add to the active market session. That is what the the active market session is. The nearest active market session is going to be what? The lending session. So that is when I execute trades. Okay, currently we are not up close to what? The active market session. So even if I see a 9 setup, so you see last Monday on USD card, I didn't execute. I told you guys I'm not going to be executing until the time get close. So that's how mostly I do. So unless the time is due, I'm not going to be executing any trade, or I'm not going to be taking any trades unless the time is due. So let's break down this chart. Mostly the technical analysis is the most important thing that most people are looking out for. So why am I saying I'm looking for the market to just break out of this one? Then I will go for a buy. So you can see even the tip hasn't been broken yet. You get it? The tip hasn't been broken yet. So we're having this reactional level over here. So one thing we are going to be considering is this one. So that's why you need to get educated when it comes to Forex. Understand the various nuances, understand the various ways of analyzing the market. You need to get educated, please. But this is something that you can't control. You can't control the decisions of some people. Okay, you can't control. I don't have the power to control some. But if you advise, my best advice I'm going to give everyone over here is to get educated. Have someone who is experienced for the person to take you through. So currently I'm doing a boot camp. We started yesterday, and I'm taking them through the things they need to consider. Okay, then things they need to consider before they will be taking trades, setups, how I see the market, how I analyze the market. Okay, so I'm taking them through all those things. So if you are here and you have not joined the boot camp or the current mastery program that is going on, the mastery training that is currently going on, you can still book your seat by contacting me on WhatsApp. Okay, you can contact me on WhatsApp for the training. Okay, because we are going to be having a lot of gems that I'm going to be sharing. If you come out from this training and you don't understand how to read the markets, then you didn't pay attention to the things that I was talking about. Okay, so I know some people are. So the country code is this 54664455. So you can contact me and we take it from there. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I'm going to explain things to the basis for everyone to understand. And one exciting news about this training is you see, the previous training you were not having any, but I wasn't on the the trading view premium version. But for now, subscribe to the premium version. So we are going to be do bar replay too. We are going to be analyzing how the market works and those things, everything. You get it? You are going to be analyzing everything and you will see how it works. That's the most exciting thing about this training that is going on. So if you have not joined yet, kindly make sure you book your seat. Okay, book your seat to be part of the winning team. Okay, so let's start with the analysis for the day. So I said I'm seeing a nice trade opportunity on USD card. So let me check out on gold. I was watching for all this while. I've been watching gold, but I think gold moves like a flash. It just moved very, very quick. I was expecting this buy. Okay, so it has even moved. Yeah, so I was projecting this buy. Okay, I was projecting this buy. So this was the point the market shifted trend over here. Okay, the market shifted trend over here. So I think for me, I was waiting for this, either the 30-minute candle to close. I was waiting for, because price was currently on this area of interest. Okay, price was on this area of interest. And one thing too I considered is we were having this reactional levels over here. So it's the same thing. The reactional levels are the same thing as support and resistance. So let me make it basis. You were having this support over here. Before that, price was, I think, below this level. So we were having this reactional level over here. So I was considering for price to, if the H4, so the time was around, I think 20 minutes for the H4 candle to close. So I was expecting the H4 candle to close. Okay, so if it closed below this one, this level would have been invalidated. This level wouldn't have been valid anymore. Okay, this level wouldn't have been valid anymore. Then you would take advantage of the H1, then you take the flip. That's what I was expecting. But price moved very fast, and there was still an opportunity. So if you can just watch it, observe it clearly, or you can observe it attentively. If you can watch it attentively, you will notice that this setup that has formed on gold, this break and retest that has formed on gold, is the same thing that is forming on Euro NZD2 as well. If you can be very, very attentive and watch it well, you will notice that it is the same setup that has formed on Euro NZD, and it is the same setup that has formed on the last time trade that we took on the stream. It was the same setup. So you see, I'm not doing anything differently. It's just I'm having a particular setup that I trade. Okay, then I rinse and repeat the same process. I'm not stressing myself. Okay, I rinse and repeat the same process. So this setup, let me clear this one over here. So you see this setup. Okay, so I took a buy over here. You will notice that this setup that formed over here, just watch it very, very attentively. You will notice that this setup that has formed over here is the same thing that we are experiencing or seeing on Euro NZD2 as well. You get it? And this same setup, it's formed over here. We took it on the stream, and I think we had a loss. And last time it happened over here, I took the same trade, and what happened? Price moved in my favor. You get it? Price moved in my favor. You get it? So it's the same setup that is happening on Euro NZD2 as well, and it is the same setup that happened on gold that I was talking about today. just what happened. But this one happened on what? The H1 time frame. I hope you can see it. It's the same setup that is happening on what? Gold as well. Okay, so trading becomes very simple. Just have one particular thing that you follow, then execute, rinse and repeat the same process. So these are the patterns that I focus on. I'm not doing anything different. But as you are seeing it, you don't have to see it just, you don't just have to just be seeing it as a normal thing. That it comes with a lot of things comes along. Okay, I consider a lot of things before I would take a trade. Okay, you have to consider how to know to read the market. It doesn't happen in any of the time frames and I'll execute. I have to read the direction of the market, consider or what, accumulate certain time frames together. Okay, then I'll conclude on a particular time frame, then I'll execute the trade. So it's the same thing that happened over here. Okay, based on the directional bias of what, the H4 time frame. The H4 time frame is an uptrend. Okay, but one thing too is what, okay, it looks like the H4 time frame open with no wick. So we're having this current support over here. Okay, so it's the same thing. Price has broken throughout the support. So I think if you take a buy over here, expected by the range is kind of choked. The range is kind of, you need to consider the zone too as well. So considering the zone over here, okay, it's like a scalp trade. Considering the zone over here with your stop loss, is this something that worth taking? You need to ask yourself. Okay, anytime you take a trade, consider the target. If you don't know your target, then you don't know what you are doing. Some people will say, oh, it's very difficult for you to predict where price is going to go. Let me tell you, when you look at USD card the other time, I predicted where exactly price is going to what, reverse on. You will notice over here that price reversed exactly on this level. You get it? Price reverse exactly. Was it something like was it something random that I did on the chart? It was something calculated and systematic. Okay, price rejected exactly on this level and it fell. Okay, but I took profit over here and I allowed the other one to what, maybe some of the position to get to this level before what I took a profit away. Okay, so you need to know your target. So determine your target, or getting to know your target is going to help you to know what your range is. That is what is going to help you to know if the trade that you are taking worth it. Okay, so when you are looking at gold for now, based on the time frame that I'm focusing on, okay, based on the time frame that I'm focusing on, if you consider the range over here, the range is like what, let's say 40 pips. So you need to determine your stop loss, and always your stop loss should be below what, your stop loss should be below a strong area of interest. One mistake a lot of people do, that mostly if I've been trading for a long and your stop loss keeps on hitting, is because you are focusing on lower time frame. Anytime you are placing a stop loss, make sure your stop loss is on a stronger rejectional level, a stronger time frame rejectional level. Okay, you don't have to place your stop loss below any random levels. Let's say maybe the 30-minute the M15 time frame has given us a support over here. So the moment price shifted trend, I'm going to take a buy, I'm going to place my stop loss over here, even though it makes sense when you come to the higher time frame. You get it? But on the lower time frame, price can easily invalidate all these levels. Okay, so always make sure you are placing your stop loss. Go to the higher time frame, determine the various rejectional levels, the various support and resistance level, and place your stop loss on those levels. You get it? And place your stop loss on those levels before you execute a trade. So consider your stop loss and your take profit. So if I'm taking a trade over here, if I'm taking a buy over here, my nearest stop loss is going to be beneath this one, because when you consider I've gone to the lowest of the lowest time frame, which is 30 minutes and 50 time frame, the nearest structure level is going to be around this side. The nearest structure level is around this side. Okay, so if I place my stop loss over here, there's no structure level over here, because mostly markets respect the candles, respect structures. Okay, so the nearest either structure level or candle tip and dip. Okay, the candle tip, this is going to be the tip of the candle, this is going to be the dip of the candle. So if I'm placing my stop loss, either I'm going to use candle dip and tip, or I'm going to use structure level. So if I'm using structure level, this point is going to be my nearest, okay, or my closest this one is going to be my closest structure level. So my structure level is going to be here. So this is going to be the point that I'm going to place my stop loss. Okay, I'm not considering the lower time frame. So that this is something you need to take note. So when I was losing, when my stop loss was frequently getting hit, was constantly getting hit, I discovered that I need to use the stronger area of interest, because anytime, so you see this one, given this scenario, you will notice that when price go to this one, this level, you see how it got rejected. It got rejected over here, got rejected over here, got rejected over here. So this is not magic. It is something that works. Let me check out on Euro NZD and see what's happening with price. Okay, so I'm waiting for this one to flip. I'm waiting for the flip before you go in for a buy. Okay, you are waiting for the flip. So let me explain this one as I'm saying. Okay, so if you are placing your stop loss, this is one thing a lot of people find it difficult. Okay, this is one thing a lot of people find it difficult. If you are placing your stop loss, okay, consider one, you need to consider a strong zone. Okay, so you can consider the daily time frame, you can consider the H4 time frame, the weekly time frame. I don't go below the H4 time frame. I start my lowest time frame, I consider my reactional level is the H4 time frame, and I will move to the other time frame. So if I'm placing my stop loss, I'll make sure my stop loss is either below H4 reactional level, below daily. If I'm taking a buy, I'm going to make sure my stop loss is below the H4 reactional level, below the daily reactional level, below weekly reactional level, or below monthly reactional level. Those are the time frames that I place my stop loss. Okay, so that because when price is coming down, it's find it difficult to break all those levels. You get it? It's find it difficult to break all those levels. So as I've given you a scenario, price found it difficult. So this red line is daily support level. Okay, so you see price got rejected times over here, got rejected over here, got rejected over here, got rejected over here. How many times? Three times. Price got rejected 3 times on these various levels. So it tells you how strong this area or this zone is. So you need to consider that. All right, you need to consider that. So don't place your stop loss below or above any level. Make sure it is very, very strong. So let's break down Euro NZD and see what we are expecting it to happen. So when you move to Euro NZD, so first of all, you need to do what you call multiple time frame analysis. So multiple time frame analysis is making sure to getting to understand what is going on in the various time frame, especially when it comes to the various levels. Okay, the support and resistance level. And one rule you need to understand about trading is you don't have to be buying on you don't have to be buying on a resistance level. Okay, so one mistake a lot of people also do is when price is at this point, so this is a resistance level. One mistake a lot of people are going to be losing money out of this one is this is a resistance level, or I call it reactional level. So a lot of people are going to be buying on they are going to be buying on this level. Okay, maybe price is approaching, we're having a tight zone over here. So this is a support level, this is support, this is a resistance level. Okay, so this is a resistance level. So what they are going to be doing is they are going to be buying on, if they want to take a buy, price is close to this level, they are going to be buying over here. And anytime price is approaching this level, it is not going to be, especially when it is higher time frame, it is not going to be easy for price to break out easily. Okay, so you need to understand, anytime price is approaching these levels, we are going to have reaction. So the reaction is either going to be price is going to forcefully break out from this level, or price is going to retrace and bounce back to this level. You get it? So if you are taking a trade and price is approaching this level, make sure you are going to be very cautious. So what I mostly do when price is approaching such levels, or when price is approaching this levels, is I break even. If I've taken a trade over here, okay, and price is approaching this level, what I do is I bring my stop loss break even. Break even is above where you enter the trade. So if price happens to move, break out, I'm going to get more of the trade. If price decides to reverse, I'm not losing anything because I've protected my capital. And one thing a lot of people don't understand too is how to protect their capital. This market is very risky. Okay, trading the forex market is very risky. So anytime you get a chance, protect yourself. Don't expose yourself too much. So that's why those who have been following me for quite some time, they will notice that it's not like I'm afraid, but I'm protecting myself. Okay, always make sure you are protected. When price moved away from the zone you took the trade, make sure you are protecting yourself. Bring your stop loss close to either what, maybe minimize your risks or what, break even. That's what mostly I do. Okay, so you need to consider that too as well. So I'm checking out on gold and see. Yeah, so this zone where price has gotten to now, the zone is choked, so I'll not love to take a buy. The zone is choked for me. The zone is choked. Looking at considering the various wicks, okay, the zone is kind of choked. So yeah, so there's no structure for me to take a trade. Mostly I take trades based on structure. So you see there was a 9 structure over here, so I'm going to take, if it happens like this, I'm going to take a sell. But this one, for instance, looking at this one, this is where I'll be placing, if I'm taking a buy now, this is where I'm going to be placing my stop loss. Okay, so if I'm taking a trade over here, you notice that price is far from my stop loss. Okay, the current market price, if I'm taking a trade over here, the current market price is far from what? It's far from my stop loss. And looking at the take profits, you see it's kind of choked. So I will not love to what, you need to make sure you are taking trades that are what makes sense. So the zone is kind of choked to me, so I will not love to what, take a trade. So maybe if price breaks out from this zone, that is when I will consider taking a buy. Okay, that's when I'm going to consider taking a buy. Yeah, so gold is not giving a nice structure. That's how I see it. Gold is not giving a nice structure. The zone is kind of choked. So you see, when price was currently over here, we were having clean zone to this side. There was clean area, okay, that you can take a buy. But currently, this wicks of the candle has made the zone like not something that we can go for, not something nice. Okay, you don't put yourself in a tight corner based on your system. So I'm not going to put myself in a tight corner. Okay, so it looks like Euro NZD want to flip. Okay, yeah, so let's consider Euro NZD. Let's break down Euro NZD. So looking at Euro NZD, this is how I consider it. So looking at Euro NZD, we have to first of all do top-down analysis. So as I was explaining, the reason why for me I do top-down analysis is what, for me to be aware if I move to what, the other time frames, if I move to what, maybe the lower time frame, if I'm on the H1 time frame, I'll get to understand what is happening on what, the higher time frame, like the monthly, so that I'm not going to be what, buying and selling on what, support and resistances. So based on my standard time frames, or the standard the time frames that I consider, the monthly, weekly, daily time frame, I have to make sure I've plotted out all the support and resistances on this time frame to H4 time frame. Mostly H4 time frame is my what, my focus time frame. H4 time frame is where I determine my directional bias. It is something that works perfectly for me. Okay, so H4 time frame is the time frame that I mostly determine my directional bias. So when it comes to trading, you have to understand what works for you, and you hit on it. Okay, you rinse and repeat the same process, hit on those levels. If you find something that works for you, don't leave it, because there's nowhere is green. Okay, just focus on what is working for you and repeat it. So the monthly time frame, I consider my various reactional levels. So we have this reactional. If you are looking, if price is moving like this, I have to look this side. Okay, I have to look this side and see left. Is there any support and resistances to my left? Okay, so I'll change it to different color for me to know exactly what time frame I determine that support and resistance on. So if you look left, you see there's no support and resistance, but this one is being determined by using market structure. Okay, if price is moving like this, if you consider this side, is there any support and resistances over here? So the next support is going to be around this side. So apart from this ones, price is clean. You're having clean area for price to what? Move through. Okay, there's clean area for price to move through. So I'm done with the monthly time frame. That's the only thing that I consider. Okay, at the monthly time frame. So if I move to the weekly time frame, so someone will ask, why don't you use trend line? Why don't you? Trend lines and those stuffs are all what? Dynamic support and resistances. Okay, don't confuse yourself with a lot of tools. You get to start experiencing analysis paralysis. Okay, you'll get confused. Trend line is telling you it's time to buy. Support and resistance is telling you price is going to hit support or a resistance. You get confused when you are doing that. So make sure you are focusing on few things. Okay, it's not about the number of tools that is going to determine your profitability. Your profitability, any system or anything that you are doing, within a month you are going to be seeing perfect setup happening. So you just have to be patient and stick to one particular thing for a very long time, and you are going to understand how it works. So moving to the weekly time frame, the next thing we are going to be doing is identifying our various support and resistance level. So let me check out USD It was a potential trade too. Yeah, so this thing kind of. Okay, so USD it was a trade that I was looking to take, but you see the reason why I didn't bother myself on this trade is because of this zone over here. So if you notice, the previous candle gave a wick, so it's the same thing that this one too can get rejected based on the daily time frame. So that's why I was even reserved on this trade. So you come back and break it down too as well. So let's finish with Euro NZD. So it's kind of about to flip, but when it comes to the crosses, so the weekly time frame, you look left, you scroll, you zoom out. Okay, you zoom out to get to understand what is happening to your left. So we're having this level over here. You're having this level over here at the weekly time frame. So you see the blue heading line. This determines your current price. So if you look left, you will notice that there was this zone over here. So the heading line is your current. This is a line chart. So the heading line is your current price. So that's the only thing I'm going to be doing at the weekly time frame. So if you move to the daily time frame, so those in the training, the mastery training that is ongoing, all these things are going to be taught over there. So if you have not joined, you are just missing out on opportunity. Okay, you are just missing out on opportunity. So by the time they will come out from the training, all these things are going to be well explained. Okay, so if you still want to take advantage, as I said, you can just message me and you will take it from there. So if you move to the left on the daily time frame, so on the daily time frame, that is when I determine my directional bias. That is using market structure to determine the direction of the market. So if you watch Euro NZD, you notice that price is currently an uptrend, very clear. Okay, price shifted trend over here. There was a shift in trend over here. Okay, so the moment this candle broke and closed above this one, there was a shift in trend over here. So there was a shift in trend over here. So the shift in trend, so the market was in a downtrend. Now it has shifted trend towards an uptrend. Okay, so market is currently an uptrend. Like market is currently an uptrend. If you move to the H4 time frame, so at this point too, so the daily time frame, you will determine our various support and resistance level. Okay, so you see price is moving up. you need to look left and see what is happening. Do you have any support and resistances? Because at the initial stage, I've told you price mostly what get price is very sensitive to all these levels. Anytime price will get to these levels, price is going to react. Okay, price is going to take action. So the action can be, if there's a lot of momentum or maybe buying pressure, it can happen. Price is going to what break out from the zone. That's when we are having a lot of buying pressure. You get it? Or momentum, buying momentum. So it can happen. Price is going to break out based on the direction the market is moving towards. So at this point, the market is moving towards up. So if price, so you see this one, as price go to this one, you will notice that this one, you get to understand that when price go to this, you get to understand that when price go to this, was it monthly or weekly resistance level, you get to understand that the body of the candle closed below this one. So it tells you how strong the level. So this is what I'm talking about. Anytime price will approach these sensitive levels, price is going to take action. It's either going to what retrace, or get the level is going to reject price to move further up, or price is going to what just bounce back. Okay, so this one price just retested and it's moved up before, after the new candles, maybe buyers went to prepare very heavily, came back and break that wall. Okay, so you notice that at this point the candle has broken. You get it? So anytime you are taking a trade and price will approach this level, you need to make sure you are what you are protecting yourself. Okay, if you're having an opening position, make sure you are protecting yourself to either what bring your stop loss close, or you either break even. So me, for instance, if price is approaching this monthly level, what I mostly do is what I break even, because this monthly level, anytime price will get there, it is going to what it mostly reverses. Okay, so if you are not fortunate, if you move to the lower time frame, you notice that price has made a deep pullback. Okay, especially if you move to the 15 minutes, you notice that price made a deep pullback. But because it's a monthly time frame candle, that's why you are not seeing the significance of this pullback. Okay, so anytime price will get there, make sure you are making sure you are being cautious about the levels. Okay, so moving to the H4 time frame. So now you've come to understand that the daily trend is what? The daily trend is an uptrend. What of the H4 time frame trend? So let's analyze the H4 time frame trend. So the H4 time frame, you can see it clearly for yourself. You get to understand that the trend, as the market has been trending what? Upwards. Okay, you don't need to be told. This is very clear. The market has been trending upwards ever since. So price has been doing highs, lows, high lows. Price has been trending very, very well. Okay, price has been trending very, very well. Okay, price has been trending very well. So now you get to understand that price is what? An uptrend. So let's, after identifying the trend, after identifying the trend, the trend is what? An uptrend. So you notice that now making decisions, okay, the daily time frame is an uptrend, H4 time frame is also what? An uptrend. So when you are taking a trade and majority of the time frames are in the same direction, okay, when majority of the time frames are in the same direction, you are at the safer side. Okay, you are at the safer side. But if you take a trade, only one time frame is in your favor, it becomes disadvantage. Okay, the chances that price is going to reverse. But if you are taking a trade and majority of the time, this makes you confident. If majority of the time frames are in your favor, okay, so with this one, for instance, I'm going to take a buy because daily is an uptrend. H4 time frame is also what? An uptrend, which is what? The higher time frame levels. So these are the things that I consider before I would decide on my directional bias. So my bias this morning, okay, is what? My bias this morning is what? An uptrend, a buy. Okay, so I'm trying to conclude on how I determine my setup. So after I've identified the trend, what I'm going to be doing is what? I'm going to determine I'm going to be determining the various levels. So we're having level over here. So this is a support level. There was another level over here. So I've already told you that anytime price will get to these levels are the level is very sensitive. Price is going to react anytime it gets to those levels. Okay. So as price is approaching, you see, price has now currently created this support over here. Price has created this support over here. You get it? So now, when the candle, this ongoing candle close over here, it is what? It is giving me my directional bias. So now my directional bias is what? A buy. So if you are joining and you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. This value I'm giving, it's like more than a paid course. Okay, so are you going to do me a favor, or you are going to do yourself a favor? So just subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to it. Let's grow this channel. Subscribe to the channel, give a like, click on the thumbs up button by giving a like, and make sure you are sharing the channel to your colleagues or your friends who are new to Forex. Okay. Yeah, so currently my directional bias is what? A buy. So this point, when price closed over here, created the support over here, now I've gotten my setup. Okay, now price has given me the setup. So what I was saying is what? When the time correlating all the time frames, the session, the structure, what I concluded on is what? Waiting for price to break out from this side. Okay, when candle structure shifts to an uptrend, that is the point I'm going to be taking what? A buy. Okay, so this setup is still valid. It's still valid because the candle hasn't closed yet. The candle is going to close in the next 2 hours, 39 minutes. So you see how this one formed with a very long wick. It's the same thing that can happen with this candle. This candle too can just form with a very long wick, and price will just flip and move up. Okay, price will just flip and move up. So that's what you need to understand. So even though the setup, everything is aligned, if you look to this zone, there's no support and resistances. We're having a wick over here for price to also fill this wick. But one thing you need to understand is what? There's no entry. So we are going to be reserved. If it happens, price is going to what? Now, if you look at the H1 candle has what? Broken below this one. Okay, H1 candle has broken this below this one. So what we are going to be waiting for is what? A shift in this trend. So you see the H1 time frame is clearly an uptrend. If you look at the H1 time frame, you notice that at a certain point, price was even pulling back. Price was just making higher lows and higher lows. Okay, price was making highs and high. So the moment price broke out from this side, it's moved the trend to also an uptrend again, and what? It is currently pulling back. So the point you are going to be taking a buy is when price flip above this one. If price flip above this one, okay, if price flip above this one, or if maybe the H1 candle close bullish above this zone, you need to understand that this is H4 zone. Okay, and H4 zone is higher than what? H1 zone. H4 time frame is higher than H1 zone. So if you move to H1 time frame, even though if it happens, this one is what we are considering this H1 level. You can see the H1 zone over here. If it happens, you are not going to consider there was no zone on the H4 time frame. This zone would have been invalidated by what? The H1 time frame. This zone would have been invalidated by the pattern over here because the candle has broken below this one. So this one would have been invalidated. Okay, so the nearest resistance level, the nearest zone is going to be around the side. But so far as we are having H4 zone, there was still a valid zone over here. But H1 has invalidated the moment the candle closed below this one, because price just broke out, made a retest, and it was supposed to retest on this one and move up, but price has broken out of this one. So now this zone has been invalidated at the H1 time frame. So the current zone is at this point. But because H4 time frame, the candle hasn't closed yet, and even if it's closed, I think this one is still going to be valid, because if it's closed like this, it still needs to pull back over here. before price will either break out or move to. If it breaks, it happens, the next candle is going to break above this one, then it's still valid. Okay, but so far as it's still ongoing, this level is still valid unless maybe it flips up again. Okay, unless it flips up again before you consider this level to be what, invalidated. So we are still having a valid level over here. So for me to take an entry, I'll either wait for the H1 candle to break above this one. Okay, if it breaks out, if it happens it breaks above this one, then you consider a buy. Okay, but the best entry is going to be when the H4, the candle flips. If it flips, then we are very sure that price is going to what, head up. So this setup has, I think the whole of this week is the same setup that has happened. This same setup happened on GBP card. Was it GBP card yesterday? Brenny, the trade that I was discussing with you. So yesterday GU2 also gave a nice setup, but there was news events. So because of the news events, we couldn't get the opportunity to take a trade on that. Okay, so you see, so as I'm telling you people, you see price, you see the level that I draw. So this is not magic. Okay, this is not magic, it's a skill, pure skill. So you see price just tested on the level exactly, and what is going on? Price is just reversing. Okay, you see price is reversing. So this level that I draw is not random levels, it is what, pure skill. So you can see, let's try and what, talk about USD CHF2 as well. So as I said, if it's this week is not profitable weeks, NFP weeks are not profitable. You see how the market, the candles are being very dicey, they are kind of not giving clear directions. So when it comes to USD CHF, you see price is getting rejected by this level. You see this one got rejected, price, the body of the candle closed below. You notice that this one too is also struggling. So you can ask yourself, where did I even get these levels? If you move to the daily time frame, you get to understand this level over here. So if you change it to a line chart, you get to understand the level. Okay, so trading is not something that you do it randomly, a guessing game. It is pure skill. So you notice that price is currently struggling to break the level. So the only time you are going to, I think the only time it is good for you to take a sell is what, for you to avoid this stress of being in a trade, a drawdown. You don't know your fate, either price is going to move in your favor, because everything is aligned. This is a perfect setup. If you look at the zone, if you change it to a line chart, you notice that price, you see the multiple levels, multiple rejectional levels over here. This is what my A plus setup. You see multiple rejectional level, multiple rejectional level, multiple rejectional levels over here. So it tells you this zone is very strong. Okay, this zone is very strong. So this zone is also confirming the sell. But one thing is what, the daily time frame, you don't have to underrate or what, underestimate the daily time frame. The daily time frame zone, there was a daily time frame zone over here that we need to what, wait. And if you watch the daily time frame, you will notice that the daily time frame candle is currently what, an uptrend. Candle structure has flipped to an uptrend. So you need to wait for what, we need to wait for the candle. Okay, we need to wait for the candle to close below this one. I think that would be the best way to go by this trade. You need to wait for the candle to break below this one, then we go in for a sell. Okay, so we need to wait for the closure of the H4 candle. So we're having 2 hours 32 minutes for the candle. So if the candle close and we don't have any news event, I think it's going to be good for what, a sell. So if you are here, you need to keep close eye on what, and it's going to give a nice risk to reward too as well. If you are here, keep an eye on USD CHF. The moment it breaks below this level, okay, the moment it breaks this level, we can go in for what, a sell. So don't put yourself in a tight corner, don't stress yourself. Okay, don't put yourself in a position where you are going to just be scared. Okay, a situation where you don't know your fate, if price is going to break this level or it's not going to break this level. You don't have to put yourself in such position. So for me, I will avoid this taking a trade around this level, because this one to also give a perfect entry. Price just broke out, made a retest, perfect entry. So one thing I even plan of doing is what I decided to take a buy over here. A sell over here. When price is approaching this one, I'll just break even fast. So if it happens, price quickly break out from this zone, I'll just be in the trade. That's what I plan of taking. Okay, but this one moved at the time you were not in an active market section. Okay, so I decided to take a sell over here. The moment it breaks the low of this one, I'll take a sell. Okay, so when price gets to this level, as it approaching this level, then I'll just bring my stop loss to break even. Okay, so the moment price gets to this level, I'm just hoping if price breaks, fine. If it comes back, I don't lose anything. That's what I plan of doing. But I think it's moved before the time that I usually take a trade, my active market section. So this one moved around 6:30, which is not pre-lending for me. So I didn't consider taking the trade. Okay, I didn't. So the 50-minute time frame made a perfect break and retest over here. So I didn't consider taking the trade. So I wanted to take a sell over here. So that's where I plan of taking the trade. Yeah, so I plan of taking the sell over here. So I think I would have even been stopped out by this candle. You see this candle wick to this level, so I would have even been stopped out. So that's what I'm planning of doing. So if this candle breaks, but you have to wait for the H4 candle to close. You need to wait for the H4 candle to close. So it's a perfect trade setup. That I even shared it in my private group. We were talking about it. It's a perfect trade setup. But because of the daily zone, that is why and the timing too wasn't favorable. So as I'm saying, next week you are going to be in what? The normal time. So I think we can be taking advantage of these opportunities. Yeah, so now the low has been, so this is a high risk trade. So the entry would have been here with what? 1 to 3. The risk reward is 1 to 3, 3.39 risk reward. So these are the trades that we are always hoping and praying you will be getting it in the market. So if the H4 candle closed below this one, okay, I'll consider taking a sell. But since the H4 candle is going to close around 10 a.m. GMT, we have a lot of time. So it's still a high probability trade setups, but there was no entry for me. Yeah, so Euro NZD is flipping. Euro NZD is flipping. So let's see how it's going to go. So we are in active market section. Okay. So maybe during the lending session is going to. So the zone is it's not kind of big to. It's very small. Okay, so if in case it starts flipping, where would the stop loss be? So I like the way the H12 is also trying to move up, but the stop loss is going to be huge. So sometimes, so let's see. Let's pull up our risk reward tool and see if it happens. It flip. The risk reward is going to be, like say, using the previous low of the candle. The risk reward is kind of crazy. It's not positive, negative risk reward. You are risking 1 to gain 0.75. So this is a negative risk to reward trade. Okay, but the setup looks good, but it's a negative risk to reward trade. You are risking. If you are, you have to. Your reward should be greater than your risk. Okay. If you are risking one, because anytime price will get here, you are going to be having reaction, and we are not certain, or we are not. We don't know what is going to happen. Okay. If you don't know whether price will be able to break out and get to the daily zone, or price is going to what, reverse on us. Okay, price is going to reverse on us. So you see GBP USD, the trade that happened on the setup that happened on GBP USD yesterday, you see a clean zone. If you look left, you will notice that I think the only level that you are going to be getting distracted is around this level. But if you look left, you notice that you see a clean zone. So even if you are rexing one, your potential reward is going to be what? 1 to 2. Okay, 1 to 2 risks to reward. These are the trades that you need to go for. Okay, these are you are rexing 1 to gain what? 2. So even if your next trade happens to be a loss, you are still in what? You are not losing anything. You are in break even. You get it? So these are the trades that I think you need to be. These are the zones. You need to consider the zones, considering where you are going to place your stop loss to where you are targeting. Your target should always be what? Bigger than what? Your reward. So this one, the risk is like 35 pips, targeting what? 67 pips. So if you look at USD CHF, for instance, the reason why I'm very convinced about USD CHF is what, if price breaks below this one, my risk is going to be, let's say if it happens, it breaks below this one, my risk is going to be like 22 pips. My target is going to be like 33 pips. Okay, so I think it's like close to 1 to 5 risks to reward. You get it? Close to 1 to 5 risks to reward. So this is something that if you are going in for, it is good to grow your account. Okay, but this Euro NZD, even though it's a nice setup, but the risk reward is not there. So we saw the same thing I was discussing with my student, my guy, Brenny. GBP card yesterday, you were tempted to take this buy and price moved. Okay, this price was around this side, and considering the stop loss, price was very high from the 64 pips, and we were targeting this zone. So you see, as price got to this zone, this is the H4 zone. You see how price got rejected. You see how price got rejected. So that's why I'm saying Euro NZD 2 can happen. This same thing can happen over here on Euro NZD. Okay, Euro NZD. So since you are in NFP week, so you notice that price got to this side. So I nearly took this buy. Okay, I nearly took this buy. I was targeting here. Okay, but considering trading crosses, the spread is very high. Unless maybe you are using commission account, the spread is very, very high. Okay, so taking like the spread can be like 5 pips, 6 pips. Okay, so taking the spread out of this one, it's like 40 pips. You are going to gain like 30 something pips. It's not something. Looking at your risk, you are risking like 60 pips to gain like 40 pips, which is negative RR. And you see, price got to the level and it got rejected. So I avoided the trade, but price moved in my favor. I was tempted to take the buy over here, but price moved and later reverses. So I stayed reserved because the crossing, the spread is very high. If I using standard or what? Yeah, if I using standard accounts, spread on the crosses are very high. So I didn't take the trade. So it's the same thing that is happening over here. So I was very enthused to take this buy this morning, but considering the spread and considering the zone is not wide enough for me to take this trade. That's what I'm considering. The zone is not wide for me to take this trade. It's kind of a choke zone. 22 pips targeting, my risk is like 33 pips. Yeah, and when it comes to standard account, as crosses, the major crosses, the spread is very, very high. The crosses is very, very high. So let's see how it's going to go. If it happens, it's flip out. It's going to get to this target, but the zone is very small. So I'm considering to avoid this trade. But It's a nice setup though, but the zone is not enough considering where I'll be placing my stop loss. So I don't have to place my stop loss in any level. I have to make sure I'm placing my stop loss in a logical what level. Okay, so this one, the logical level, I think. So since you're having this zone over here, the logical level is going to be below this structure level. Okay, you need to place your stop loss at a logical levels. So this point is going to be my logical stop loss based on the time frame I'm focusing on. So even though I'm having a strong hope for this trade, but one thing too you need to understand is what NFP weeks. We are in NFP weeks. We are NFP week. Okay. NFP week is kind of dicey weeks. So let's see if it's going to flip. If it flips, so today you're having unemployment claims today. If it flips, then price will be able to what move up to the side. Yeah. So this was a trade I was looking for with USD CHF for today, but yeah. So USD CHF is doing the do. So this USD CHF, one thing I've noticed about USD CHF is what it's having a good potential, but the way I mostly analyze the charts, I don't mostly get it. It's either price is going to waiting for something and price. I've missed a lot of the big moves on USD CHF. I've been missing a lot of them. So this one, for instance, I think there was a big move on USD CHF the other time. This trade, for instance, we were waiting for a retest on this zone. Price just made a quick move. Okay, it's moved fast. I don't know whether it's a brother of zone or a gold or what. And this one too, for instance, I was waiting for a pullback for price to take a buy. And this one too, there was a trade over here. All these big moves, I've been getting the direction, but price never gave me the entry that I was expecting it to happen. It never gives the entry that I'm expecting. Yeah, so this same thing, this trade setup, for instance, I was waiting for a retest. Okay, then I'll take the sell. It just made a quick move. And this one too, I remember this one. This candle just shifted the trend to an uptrend. If you change it to a line chart, you notice that the trend was an uptrend at this point. So it also gave a nice resistance over here. So this would have been the point. So it happened around 2 p.m. GMT. This would have been the point I would have taken the sell, but because of the shift in trend, I just avoided the trade and price moved heavily. Okay, so I've been seeing the big moves, but I've not been getting the chance. And this one too, I was expecting. Yeah, so you were expecting a retracement. Then what happened? Just price moved. So it's the same thing that is happening over here too as well. Price so this one is going to head straight to this side. So yesterday, for instance, there was a nice setup, but because of the time of the day, because of you were having major news, you see how it is moving. So I'm just hoping if I get USD CHF one day, the way I will just hit it hard, I'm not going to even close the trade, even if it gets to because this pair is it moves very nicely. USD CHF, if you get a nice trade setup with an entry, it moves nicely. Yeah, so Euro NZD is also trying to flip. So I'm not going to be taking Euro NZD because the zone is very small. Okay, the zone is very small. So this one is going to head to. So if you want to take it, you can take it. But for me, the zone is very small for me. The zone is very small. Considering where I'll be placing my stop loss, the zone is kind of small. 23 pips, and this is standard account. Hey, sorry. Taking standard account, the spread is very big. The spread is going to be very big. The zone is small. Unless maybe I just want to just ignore the level. Unless maybe I just decide to ignore. So you just push it. So if you want to take a buy, you can take it when it flips. But the zone is very small for me. I'm just thinking of the risks to the reward. So just move. So it has been triggered. It has been triggered. Okay. So let's see what's going to happen. So this is going to be the target. This is where it's going to be the target. So this Euro NZD. Let me check out the USD CHF too. So USD CHF has pumped like just pump, but because of this zone, so here you are NZD. So those who took the trade, how do you see the spread over at your end? Crosses are having, unless you are using commission accounts. Crosses are very, very high. The spread is very high on them. So we are hoping this one is going to move to the side. So let's observe it together and see. Let's see how it's going to work out. USD CHF is gone. USD CHF is just gone because of the timing. So next week the market is going to come to normal. So I think we will be getting good trades next week. Market will come to normal. And you see, when it comes to choke zones, when the zones are not big, one thing you need to consider is the market is not going to reach the targets mostly exactly. Okay, so I wanted bigger zone. The zone is kind of small for me. The zone was kind of small. So lending hasn't opened yet. Lending hasn't opened yet. So in the next 30 minutes, lending is going to open. So those who took the trade, I hope now you are in profits. So let me see there. So it has moved like 4 pips, 5 pips. Just pumping. Six pips. Currently move like 6 pips. Yeah. So we are hoping lending in the next 12 minutes, lending is going to just move it heavily. Yeah, so lending session, your open lending session is just going to move it to the side. One thing I've observed, this pair also moves very well. If you look at the past trends, or the past moves of the market, you notice that Euro NZD really moves well. You can see it has been trending ever since. Yeah, Euro NZD also moves quite well. So the zone was choked. The zone wasn't big. That's why I didn't go in for the trade. The zone was kind of small for me. The zone was small. Let me check out on USDCHF. Yeah, so USDCHF is going to fill the whole of this side. So maybe lending open, we can see the various zones being filled. So let's wait for the lending open and see the outcome on how the trade is going to move to. So how is gold moving to as well? Yeah, gold too is kind of retracing. So you see, gold is currently struggling to break that strong level. It is currently struggling to break that strong level. So it's currently ranging over here. So this is the key level. Okay, if you look at the H1 time frame, you get to understand that price is currently struggling to break. It's finally broke. But one thing you need to understand about breakouts and candle closure. Since the candle hasn't closed, this one can just be a wick and it will just flip. So it hasn't broken yet. So this one can just be a flip. Yeah, the zone is small. So most of the time, the zones that I focus on, you see Euro NZD, these are the zones that I go for. Big zones, okay? So that market will give me a breathing room, price to breathe, okay? In case maybe, because one thing you need to understand is what? If this is your target, most of the time, price is not going to reach. Sometimes if the zone is big, price doesn't reach the target exactly. Sometimes it will just leave like 3 pips before you can price what, and price will just reverse. So you need to factor all those things too. Price doesn't get to the target exactly. Most often, price doesn't get to the target exactly most often. Okay, so this one, for instance, price can just come to this side, not reaching the target exactly, then it will reverse. Okay, so we need to go in for bigger zones. So currently price has moved. Price has moved like 7 pips. And I bet you, let me check the spread. The spread, if you are using standard account, let me check the spread. Kind of crazy. Euro NZD. Okay, so the spread is like 4 pips. So you see, price has now moved. So for 4 pips, what it means is what? If you are using standard account, what it means is what? You need to, this is where you are going to be triggered in. So this will be your entry. You get it? This will be your entry. So if you are not using commission accounts or account that comes with maybe if you are not using commission accounts and you are trading crosses, you need to be very, very careful with it. Okay, so with these 4 pips, this is where you are going to be triggered. So our entry is going to be here. So you see, it doesn't make sense. You get it? You see, it doesn't make sense. So this is where you are going to be triggered into the trade. Okay, so this will be the zone. This will be your zone that you are targeting. So like 17 pips zone. Yeah, so that's why I avoided the trade, because the zone is kind of choked, but the setups look good, but the zone is kind of choked. Okay, the zone is kind of very, very small. So we're having like 5 minutes for lending to open. So we are waiting for lending open. We are waiting for lending to open, then we call it a day. I think today we've really learned a lot. I've really shared a lot of value over here. So the zone is small. Okay, so anytime you are taking a trade, consider the zones. Consider the zones. So USD CHF, the zone is very big. Okay, the zone is very big. So consider the zones you are taking a trade. I gave you a scenario on GBP USD. I gave you a scenario. So GBP card yesterday, for instance, the zone was big considering the pip range. The pip range is like 53 pips. You get it? The pip range is like 53 pips considering so as compared to this one. The zone is small. So consider the zone. Anytime you are taking a trade, make sure the zone, considering where you are going to place your stop loss with the zone, where you are going to target the trade, make sure your target zone is bigger than where your stop loss zone. Okay, always factor that. Consider where you are going to be placing your stop loss is bigger than where you are going to target. Your target is always going to be bigger than your stop loss. Okay. So we're having 3 minutes. So you with the zone, okay, let me educate you on this. With the zone, so let's say maybe price is currently over here. Price is currently over here. Okay, maybe the candle has closed above this one. Yeah, the candle has closed above this one. Okay, and you are taking a buy. This is the zone you are taking a buy. You have to first of all consider the commission, or if you are using a standard account, consider the spread. So anytime you take a trade, check the spread. Okay, if you check the spread, the spread is 2 pips, and this is the point you decide to take the trade. Okay, maybe you decide to take the buy over here. This is the entry. This is your entry. If this is your entry, consider the spread. Okay, so taking 2 pips out of this trade, you take 2 pips out of this trade. So that means this is the point your trade is going to be triggered in. Okay, this is the point your trade is going to be triggered in. If it is 4 pips, you measure 4 pips, consider the spread, or maybe 5 pips. Okay, so that means this is the point you are going to be triggered in, not here anymore. this is where you are going to be triggered. So this one, for instance, as I consider the spread, this is the point I'm going to be triggered in. Okay, this is the point I'm going to be triggered in. So that's why I avoided this trade, because considering the zone that the price that they are giving to me, it is high. I don't have to buy at a higher price. This is my area of interest. So if they take me into the trade, I'm going to, so see, this one is going to break a drawdown. I'm going to be in what? Drawdown, a huge drawdown. You get it? So we consider all these things. So it's not all about the technical analysis. You need to understand all these things too as well before you pull the trigger. Okay, you pull the trigger. So you first of all consider the zone. Does it make sense to take the trade? Okay, because majority of the time, and I've already told you this morning that if you have set your target, price doesn't reach the target. Most of the time, price doesn't reach the target exactly. Okay, the nearest zone exactly. Sometimes it will be like 2 pips close to the target. Sometimes it will be like 2 pips close to the target, then it will reverse. Okay, so if let's say I've taken 2 pips out of this zone, you see the zone is becoming very small. Now the zone has become like 16 pips. Considering my stop loss like 39 pips, you think it's a good investment to invest in such investment? You get it? It is not something good to go in for. So we consider the zone is kind of choked. The zone is kind of choked. So lending session has opened. Yeah. So lending session has opened now. We have to see some volume in the market. So this candle closed. This candle needs to wick down. Okay, I think it's open with small wick. Let's see how lending volume is going to move price. So taking the 2 pips that I'm talking about, you'll be left with very tight range. You get it? You'll be left with a very tight range. So you have to always make sure your range is big. Always take trades in a bigger range, unless if you believe the pair is having a huge pip value. So gold, for instance, the pip value, small range can give you like 40 pips. With that one, it's going to be like a scalp. Okay, but the chances, because price usually moves in ranges, so the chances that price is not going to move in your favor too is sometimes something you need to consider if the range is very small. So you need to consider the various range as well. Okay, so that, because if you are in a trade, you need to manage the trade. Okay, you need to understand trade management. You need to manage the trade, when to break even, and you don't have to just be in the trade. People don't understand this. You don't just have to be in the trade, and you need to consider where you can be able to break even. Okay, you need to consider where you can be able to break even. So they are all skill. It's not all about technical analysis. Trade management too is something you need to learn. When to break even, okay, when to maybe shift your stop loss, and all those stuffs you need to learn. So it's not all about technical analysis. You need to consider trade management too as well. We need to consider trade management. Okay, so you see USD CHF, you see what is happening. Since we expected the zone, price is now currently. So if a candle hasn't broken below, I think I'm even giving you a lot of value over here. If the candle hasn't closed, don't consider it to be what the candle has broken. If the candle hasn't closed, it is not considered that what. It's not consider. Is it consider? You can't consider it to be what a shifting trend. Okay, you can't consider it to be a shift, like a break of structure. So if you have any question, you can drop it in the chat box. If I've not given a like to the stream too, kindly do well to give a like to the stream. Give a like to the stream. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe to the channel too as well. Introduce the channel to your friends who are finding it difficult to let trading work. I think when they come around, they are going to get value. So gold is just messing up. So as I said, NFP weeks kind of. It's kind of. So USD card. The daily time frame is giving a nice break and retest, but the H4 is a downtrend. So unless the H4 time frame shifts, okay, unless the H4 time frame shifts like this, before I'll consider. Okay, so currently I'm not interested in USD card. So all the majors are kind of not giving a nice setup now. So I opt out from all the majors because they are not giving a nice setups. So I was considering the flip. So if you're having any question, let me know. Drop it because I'm about to hop off. If you have any question, kindly drop it in the chat box. Okay, so today I think I showed you how to manage. I think I talked about trade management, how to consider the zones, okay, how to consider the zones and those stuff. So if you are taking trade, you need to consider the zone you are taking the trade within. So I gave you an example. When you are taking a trade, when it comes to the zones, you have to take out the spread. You need to consider the target you have targeted. Price is not going to get to the target exactly. Okay, price is not going to get to the target exactly. So you need to consider all these things. Okay, You need to consider all these things before you execute a trade. Okay, before you execute a trade. So if your risk zone is smaller than, if your risk zone is bigger than what your target, then avoid such trade. Okay, you consider your stop loss pips, and you consider the spread, and you take maybe 2 to 3 pips, because price, this is my target. It can happen that price is not going to get to the target exactly. Okay, so as I checked the spread, it was like Euro NZD was like 4 pips, so 4 pips maybe around here, considering the spread. So you are going to be in tight range. Okay, so that's why I didn't take the trade. Okay, so you need to understand all these things before you pull the trigger. Guys, I hope today you've learned a lot. You've gotten a lot from this stream today. Okay, so what you can do to help the stream to grow is to just give a like to the stream. And as I said, the boot camp is ongoing. So you can I gave out my contact. You can just check the bio. You see my information over there. You just test me over there. Then I put you on. So it's kind of, there's no volume in the markets, kind of slow. Okay, so how many hours have I spent over here? I've spent more than 1 hour over here. Okay, guys, just calling it off. Okay, I'm just calling it off. So as I'm saying, with USD CHF, and even we are going to be approaching the New York's high impact news. Okay, so today Euro Summit, you're having Euro Summit today. Is it because that's why the pair looks kind of very slow? So high impact news today on Euro. And at the same time, yeah, so you have an interest rate on Euro 2 today. So I'm sure that's why the market is kind of slow. That's why Euro movement is kind of slow, because you are going to be having an upcoming interest rate, unemployment. So if it is best even this week, you need to call it a week earlier, because this kind of news, it kind of slows down the market. The market is slow because of the various news events on Euro, the interest rates and those stuff. That's why the market is kind of stuck. Okay, guys, see you on Monday same time. Okay, so bye to you all.